Hi, most people find it really hard to believe that their brain has got more potential than they've seen already. And another thing that happens is that most people feel that their level of intelligence has been determined by how they did at school. Well, that's not true. The wonderful thing about recent neuroscience is that it shows us that our brains are capable of far, far more development right through our lives. So that's what I want to talk about today, how it is that the brain does and can develop new skills and how that will affect us. So what happens in the brain? Those things that I'm a natural at, those things that I find easy and effortless, are those things that are automatic in the brain. When things are automatic, I don't have to think about them. When they're not automatic, I do. So if you take riding a bike, when I think about riding a bike, when I'm learning at the beginning, I fall off. It's when it becomes automatic, so I don't think that I can do it. And the same actually applies to everything. It applies to other physical things like dancing. I'm good at it if I don't have to think. I'm bad at it if I have to think. The same is true of public speaking. The same is true of maths. The same is true of every skill that we develop on a day-to-day basis. So what happens? When I'm thinking about it, the brain is trying to learn, and the bit of the brain that tries to learn is the bit at the back. It's the cerebellum. It takes what we are thinking about, and if I think about it often enough, it will try and turn it into a hardwired program so that I don't have to think about it. It does it completely automatically. But our cerebellums are very different. Some people have the type of cerebellum which will develop one type of skill and not another, and it could be the other way around for someone else. So different parts of our cerebellum has different levels of capability to create hardwired, fully automatized programs that give us skills. So if you think of all the multitude of skills that we have, and we're natural at some, and there's a few that we're not a natural at. Now, researchers tell us that about 1 in 6, typically, of our everyday skills we won't ever become automatic at and natural at, all because of this guy at the back, the cerebellum. And what can you do about that? Well, if it affects something really important like reading, people that don't have good eye tracking don't read easily. Well, that's a serious problem, and so you need to develop eye tracking so that reading becomes easy. That's determined by the cerebellum at the back. If it's skills that's not so important, like dancing, well, when it comes to the odd family wedding that you have to go to, you just don't get up and dance, or if you do, everyone sniggers. Some skills you have to have, some you can get away without having. But what if it was possible for us to develop a wider range of skills, make more things automatic? What would happen? Well, first of all, the whole idea of the program, the brain development program, is that it's the cerebellum that's being supported. The more you support and develop a cerebellum, the broader the range of skills will become automatic. And it does that in a way that's really obvious to just about everybody that does the course. And it does it by developing the very bit that naturally develops the rest of the brain to make us natural at more skills. So what happens? The more things we don't have to think about, the freer my working memory is, because my working memory is the bit that does the thinking. And those skills that I have to think about fills up my working memory. When my working memory is full, I've got nowhere to think. I get stressed, very stressed. I lose control of my emotions. The more working memory you have, the more control of your emotions, the more relaxed you are, and very importantly, the more confident you are. So confidence is about automaticity of everything I am doing now. Lack of confidence is lack of automaticity about the things that I am doing now. It applies, say, to golf. Those that are not confident at, say, chipping and putting do so because there's some of those basic processes of balance and coordination for which the brain has never acquired a hard-wired program. So this whole thing all fits together. If I want to be confident, if I want high performance, I want automaticity, which means consistency, it means effortlessness, it means not having to think about it, and it means confidence. It all starts here in the cerebellum. And the important thing is, the more things you can transfer to long-term memory, the more confident you are, the freer your working memory, the more on top you feel, the more organized you feel. The more working memory, the more chance you have of being organized, being a completer finisher, having a less messy desk or wardrobe or kitchen or whatever. So the exercise I want you to do this week is to Google successful people who failed at school and then reconsider your own potential. If you did brilliantly at school and college, then you realize that's not the be-all and end-all, and you need to keep developing. If, as many, didn't shine as much as they could at school and college, then realize you have still got potential up here between your ears waiting to be discovered, and the development of the cerebellum will enable the rest of your brain to start making more things more automatic, more effortless, and giving you more confidence as a consequence. I wish you well.